Got a brand new Jeep.
How are you guys?
Really good.
Good?
Really good. Yeah, great.
Good.
Really good.
So I wanted to talk about the first year of high school. How's first year of high school for you guys? As parents and for your kids, your impression of how it was for your kids.
I thought it was pretty uneventful. I mean, I was really happy with how it went and the new school. She didn't know anyone and she got involved and got into a sport. And I really have nothing negative to say about the first year.
That's good.
I know. I mean, because we went in blind to this new school.
Right.
It's not in our area. We didn't know anybody. We really didn't know anybody who went there before.
Right.
And I'm pleasantly surprised it was a super easy year.
Good.
Yes.
People still burying their lunch garbage? Remember
yeah,
that?
that girl moved on. Yes, I forgot about her. Yes, she's moved on.
Oh,
Which
okay.
reminds me, I guess you guys talked about at the last Girl Scout meeting about sophomore split. Gabriella was telling me.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tatum
yes.
was talking a lot
Yeah.
about sophomore split.
I had never heard about that.
I had never heard of it either, but
Yeah.
Tatum explained it. I wish it had been on a podcast because she explained it so eloquently at Girl Scouts. And Georgia was saying, yes, that happened. Definitely happened. But I don't remember what Gabby said. What did Gabby say?
I talked to her just the other day because I was asking her about for this podcast, like what, and she mentioned it. And I said, did that happen? She goes, yeah, this a little bit because it wasn't a huge thing, but in her little group, there was definitely the garbage girl who buried her garbage. That
Might be
girl
good that
split.
the garbage girl
And-
split.
Yeah. And then another one split, two other ones split.
Uh-huh.
And then they've gained a couple others.
Yeah.
So yes, there was a sophomore split.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
For us, it was. I think it was kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. For the most part, it was good. But there was definitely some struggles with the girl scene and the groups and the friends. It was all super copacetic for almost the whole year. And then right at the end of the year, there was, Instagram drama and friends freezing other friends out for apparently no reason. But I'm sure that, there is a reason. So that part of it was a little bit rough.
Yeah.
And then other than that, getting involved in everything, it was really good. A lot of school spirit, academics a little here and there, but ended out pretty good.
Yeah.
Trying to get used to the new system and the workload and the block schedule and boys
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting year for us too, and mostly good. But, Georgia's always been pretty much a straight A student, and that has not been the case all of freshman year. She, I think, maybe had 1A all year. And I'm not sure it was because she was academically challenged. I think it's because she was socially and time management challenged. Like this new system of, they have what's called a block schedule to explain to everybody that's listening. She goes, she has each class period is an hour and a half. So on one day she'll have periods 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on the next day, she'll have period 5, 6, and 7. And then it goes back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They rotate. What's period 1 today is not period 1 2 days later. It kind of shifts around. So there's a lot of French isn't first period every day or every other day. The subject changes all the time. It's constantly changing. So for her to have to keep up with, okay, what class is first and where am I going and when do I go to my locker and what do I need? And I think that was really challenging for Georgia. I think she needed, period 1 through 6, even though now this year she's really relaxed into it and seems to have really gotten, a grasp of it. But I think deciding to be on the softball team, which was a 6-day-a-week commitment,
It's crazy.
was crazy on top of trying to figure out the schedule. So her grades freshman year, I don't really care about her grades. What I care about is that she's typically an A student and suddenly is a B and C student. So then I go, okay, what's going on? Is this school really hard for you? What's happening? And I don't think the school's hard. I think the management of all the moving parts was really hard. And there was drama that she wasn't in, but that she witnessed. like there were two girls that were hooking up in the bathroom. And there was a lot of drama around these two girls because they're obviously gay. They're at a Catholic school. There are nuns on the campus. And they're like, they're going to get kicked out. And everybody was so supportive of their relationship and terrified that they were going to get kicked out. I remember there was a lot of drama around that in the beginning of the year. And so-and-so is going to tell on them. And that's not cool. And someone took a picture through the crack in the door of them.
Oh, goodness.
Smooching and posted it and all this stuff that she wasn't involved in any of it. But it was upsetting for her to see that people would do that. Who would spy on somebody, take a picture, and then post it publicly was really upsetting for Georgia. So I think, Georgia's always been really young emotionally. She's always been like the last to stop playing with dolls, the last to kind of start, because she's June birthday. She's a little late. So I think for her, that was a big leap from her little insulated group here in our community to go to this place where she didn't know a single person either, like Gabby. She knew one, Maya. She knew one person, but they had never hung out or, didn't have anybody in common. To be thrown into this new schedule, 6 days a week softball, and all this ancillary girl drama that she just, I wouldn't say it was a hard year, but it was definitely her most difficult year, maybe besides sixth grade.
I have to agree. We have that same crazy block schedule as well, but we don't rotate. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7.
Uh-huh.
Well, after 7, they have X period. Do you guys have X
same
period?
thing, yes.
Yes. Well, except for at her school, X period means go to the mall or Starbucks, not do your homework or study. And T was the same thing, always straight A's. And then this year it was like, oh, so we're not getting straight A's. Not only are we not getting straight A's, but you're working to keep that B.
Right.
And she's the first to admit it's not academically too hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I think it might have been a little too easy in some regards.
Yeah.
So, you know how you get all your work done the day before you leave on vacation?
Yeah.
I think she was slacking a little. Plus, I think there are some challenges in regards to now they use iPads for everything. All your books are on iPads, all your assignments are on iPads, and most importantly, submitting your homework is on the iPad. She seemed to do okay with the iPad. I mean, she knows how to find YouTube and Instagram, and they can hack those things like crazy.
Right.
But the submitting your homework on the iPad seemed to be the most challenging concept of all. She would do the homework, and then for some reason, it never got submitted. I was like, oh, well, no wonder you don't have A's. Straight A's.
Right.
So hopefully we're going to turn the corner, and that won't be the case this year.
Right. Yeah, I think the same was for Georgia. She was not challenged, especially math. Her math class, she could have slept and made a B. And she made a B. And I kept going, you should be in honors math. I wanted to put her in honors math the first year, and I was talking to her counselor, and she wanted to be in honors biology, and I wanted her to be in honors math. And the counselor was like, let's start with one freshman year. Just do one really high achieving class freshman year. And then you can add sophomore and keep adding. And that way, freshman, there's a lot of stuff to get used to. So don't kill yourself. It's not necessary. So that's what we did. I think it was a mistake. I think we should have had non-honors biology and honors math because she had a B in both.
We did the same thing.
And yeah.
Same thing. Regular math, not honors.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, this is so easy for you, but you're getting a B.
Same. She was snoozing.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't help that her teacher had no personality. Her teacher was going to be a nun and then fell in love and was abandoned at the altar, which ruined her. And she decided to just live by herself and raise llamas. So she has llamas and she still wears like the clip barrettes on each side. She breaks my heart. She was coming to the softball games when they were, in the championships. And I was like, there's her math teacher. No wonder Georgia can't listen to her. The poor little thing. She probably weighs 85 pounds soaking wet. She's tiny. And all in her classroom are pictures of
Her
llamas. Oh my gosh.
I love her already.
She's precious.
She's like half nun.
She's like half nun, and she went to the
Nun
same high school.
Oh, she went there
She
too.
went to this high
Aw,
school.
Bless her
And
heart.
seems like her mom went to this high school
oh
too.
my goodness.
And she's just like this little old spinster llama growing lady that teaches math.
I love it.
But Georgia was like, Mom, I can barely stay awake. She was very soft spoken.
Yeah.
So she was teaching like this, really kind of folded into herself, tiny
Yeah.
llama growing woman.
Aw.
T's
Yeah.
math teacher was just the opposite. The kids were petrified of her.
Oh.
They just like, they were scared to death. I was like, just go ask her a question. How hard can it be? Well, she got fired.
She did.
So there was some truth.
Something, yeah.
There was something going on there. Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, no way. I said, yeah, sure enough.
How about that?
Gabriella's math teacher was awesome.
Yeah?
She came home at first and was like, oh my gosh, Mom, this math teacher gets up and he puts these problems on the board and they're wrong. She goes, I can't believe he's doing it wrong and we have to correct him. And so I'm like, all right, that seems a little weird. And so then I went to back to school night and the guy is totally hilarious.
Yeah?
Deadpan, super funny. And I went back to her and I said, he's doing it on purpose. He's been teaching here for like 17 years. He knows how to do these problems. He's
Right.
taught this class over and over. He wants you guys to get the errors on the board on purpose so you're paying attention. She's
Right.
like, oh. And he just had that way of teaching and was super gentle about it and made them figure it out and gave them answers to the homework, but they had to do it. And just he'd figure out a way to teach these guys in a kind of an unconventional way.
That's cool.
And
like that.
Me
she did really well. And I think everyone else did too.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we were happy with her math teacher.
That's good.
All of her art teacher was the only one that was a little, I think she could have been a little better, but
Right.
everybody else was pretty good.
Well, I was talking to Georgia and Tatum about the class they liked the least. I haven't asked Gabby this, but it was French
In Spanish.
and Spanish. And I asked the question, do you think that you are such a good learner that when you have something that is really hard to learn, you don't like it? Or the teacher is the problem? Because for Georgia, the teacher was the problem. Now she has the same teacher this year because she's gotten the hang of French. She loves it. She now wants to go to Paris. She wants to like go see French films because she's getting it. In the beginning, the venom that came out of Georgia's mouth from this woman, I kept going, this is not about the teacher, Georgia. This is about you being uncomfortable with struggling to learn, right? So I asked them if they thought that could be what it is, if that's why they hate that class so much. And it was interesting to watch their face go, maybe.
I bet it's the first class that's actually really challenged them.
Yes.
They're not used to learning that way.
No.
You know
No.
that book you gave me
Which one?
recently?
Which one?
You gave it away to, I think you had some in your car. I don't remember the name of it, but
McDermott book?
it was
Oh.
a woman on the front.
Yes, it's what's Kristen's book called? Takes
Yes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I opened that today. It's just so funny that you're talking about this because on that page it said, don't tell your kids that they're smart.
Yeah.
Because then they get used to like, I'm smart. I should just get this.
Yeah.
And so when they come across a challenge, they're like, wait. And they don't want to dig in and do it, the work.
Yeah.
And they expect just to get it. So I think that's what she's talking about and you're talking about.
That's right. Yeah, I
They
think you're
came
right.
across their first like big challenge.
Yes.
Very true.
And they went, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Because we do tell our kids they're smart. And I just went, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And for Georgia to live with Isla and to see Isla struggle with every subject, even math, which is her strongest subject, but math is reading problems. So for her, that's been a struggle forever. I think Georgia's been like, got it.
Right.
Super easy.
Right.
I've always told her she's smart, but I'm not always like, you are the smartest person. You know, it wasn't my focus.
Yeah.
But for her to juxtapose herself with her sister in this household had to have added to that some way. And for her to finally, I kept saying to her too throughout the course of the year, this is how your sister feels in every subject. So, you know, I have to help her a lot because she feels like you feel in French in every subject. And I think that's the first time in Georgia's life she could relate it that way. You know, until you experience something, sometimes you can't really have that kind of compassion. You
Absolutely.
can have some of it,
Yeah.
but not all of it. And I think she has offered to help Georgia Isla with her homework so many times since then.
It's like walking. She's walked in her shoes.
Yes, where she goes,
like empathy.
This would suck. If this
Yeah.
was every class, this would
Yeah.
suck.
Right.
I just have it for French, you know?
Tatum said something the other day in the car on the way home. There was someone else in the car. I'm sure she was saying it because one of the other girls that we carpool with was in the car. She was just like, "Ugh, I'm just not a very good test taker." And I looked at her, I said, please don't ever say that in front of your brother who actually has a really hard time taking tests.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not that you're a bad test taker. You're a really good test taker. You just weren't prepared for that test.
Right. Which is a big difference.
Right. And she was kind of like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So, there's that same sort of dynamic where they kind of realize, oh, well, hey, maybe I should help out some more.
Yes. Maybe now I understand in a different way. You know.
Which
That's
is
what we
good.
all should search to do, right? In life in general, is to try to understand something in a different way.
Right.
Because your life experiences are completely different than mine. So how could I ever understand something through your filter
Right.
and vice versa? But if we tried, I think it would be better for everybody.
Right.
So that was a gift that the French teacher gave our house, was to have Georgia kind of be gobsmacked a little bit. Just kook, what the heck? I don't know how to persevere. She really didn't know how to persevere. I mean, she really came undone about that one class,
Right.
which I had no idea I had set her up for that. Because there was really no problems all through elementary school, all through middle school.
Right.
We were just cruising along. And
Right.
I kept saying, you know, when we were putting our girls in softball, the reason I wanted Georgia in softball was so that she could be bad at something
Right.
and know what it feels like to not be an expert right off the bat, because learning was like expert right off the bat. And she hated softball. And I think that's why, because it was, you know, out of her comfort zone. So I was really shocked when she decided to join the softball team in high school, because I thought all these kids have been playing since kindergarten. You're going to be really fish out of water.
Right.
And she has been the whole time, and she's kind of figured out how to relax through it. But for whatever reason, that French class really kicked her butt. Interesting anyway. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes
good
they like
insight.
to take the easy path. Like T didn't want to swim on varsity. They wanted her to swim varsity.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I said, hey, why didn't you take it easy? You were already doing comp team and everything else for cheer. And she was like, I think I'm going to do varsity. And then the next week she came up. She's like, you know what? I'm staying on JV. And after a couple of weeks, I was like, why are you staying on JV? And because I want to win. And I was like, oh, well, at least you realize that, you know, while you're a freshman, you can be on the JV team and just win. But I was like, oh, well, why don't you go on varsity and lose for a little while?
Right?
I think that might be coming this year, which would be great.
Yeah. It is
So
great for them
It's
to
a good
lose.
lesson for them.
Yeah.
And they figured out themselves. It's funny. They make these decisions, and I go, oh, I don't know about that. But I've learned to keep quiet, and then they come back around. I almost think that they're looking for that answer from us. But then they think about it on their own. And if I make like not a big deal about it, they come back around and they make the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah. I think you as toddlers and as young kids, where you had to make the decisions, if you do that, not right, but if you do it in alignment with your value set,
Right.
then that's already in place.
Right.
They just have to find it.
Right.
And they're searching for autonomy at this age anyway. They want to make the decision themselves. They really do.
Right.
So to just let them,
Let them
Yeah.
fall and then
Yeah.
figure it out.
let them figure it out.
Right.
I know it's Bert has a has a hard time with that. So like Georgia's softball is from 5 to 7 on Wednesdays. Well, she gets out of school sometimes at 2, sometimes at 3. And I'm like, she's just going to have to stay at school. I can't drive, pick her up,
Right.
an hour round trip, and then an hour round trip at 5 p.m. to turn around an hour round trip at 7. I can't spend 3 hours driving her because of softball.
Right.
So she's just going to have to sit at school. The library's open. There are adults on campus. She's a block and a half from a grocery store. If she ate all of her lunch, there's vending machines. There's a refillable water bottle station. She's going to be driving in like a year. Surely she can sit at her school from 3 to 5, you
Right.
know? I'm not going to go get her. This is the choice she made. She wanted to be on the softball team. That's what she's got to do. And she's fine with it. It gives Bert anxiety to think that oh my God, she could be home. She could be doing this. I'm like, she's doing her homework. She's fine.
Right.
Let her go.
And even like socializing more, you know, if there's other kids that are hanging back, you
There
know?
are.
Yeah. Get to know them a little better, a new group or whatever, you know?
Totally. 'Cause
Stretch
that
your wings a
sophomore
little
split.
bit.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's what the
split.
problem is, though, the socializing. Same thing, T gets out at like 1:30 sometimes, and we'll have practice at 5. And she's like, oh, I'll just stay here. I'll go to X period. And I was like, oh, you mean you'll go to the mall and to Starbucks and to socialize and then come home at 7:30 and start working on your homework?
And have 2.5 hours. of
Yeah,
homework.
it's like, that's not going to fly. Do your homework first.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, so when you come home, you can eat dinner and go to bed at a decent time.
Right.
So they can leave. See, at Gabriella's school, if you leave, you can't come back in.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
So
they
she-
just come and go as they please.
She chooses when she does have to stay a little later, waiting for her friends to get out. She'll just go to the library because she knows she can't. If she can go to the mall next door, but where's she going to sit? And so she'd just rather go to the library and do her homework.
Yeah.
She's by herself. And
Right.
Hey, looping back, what is the school's policy on the 2 girls hooking up? I mean, obviously, I know
They're
you're
still
not
in
supposed
school.
I know they're not supposed to hook up in the bathroom, but do they have a more lenient policy on homosexuality and all of that, or are they very strict in regards to following the church?
Well, that's an interesting question because it was never really publicly, like the parents didn't know about it. I knew about it from my kid. Both girls are still in school. And my understanding from Georgia is that both girls were talked to.
Oh.
But I don't know what that means. And they're still dating. Like they still hold hands and stuff. But I don't know if they do it at school. And, you know, at school, if it was a male-female, some of that PDF probably wouldn't be allowed either.
right.
So I don't know that I don't know the answer to that. It was never, you know, we never got a newsletter. There was no like, hey, parents, just so you know, this is going on. So I've only heard from Georgia, but I know the 2 girls are still in school, so they didn't get expelled, which would be, you know, you would think would be the Catholic route since that's clearly not accepted in the Catholic Church. So
Maybe they're becoming more lenient, or maybe certain schools are more lenient.
maybe. And, you know, I find it fascinating that this school is all nuns. There are no men.
There's no male teachers?
Oh, yeah, male teachers. And no, not all the teachers are nuns, but like the school is created by the Sisters of, right? And they run everything. And then a bishop or somebody will come in and visit, but they run everything. So I feel like the women are a little more, liberal is the wrong word, but maybe
Accepting?
loving, embracing. I don't know. That's my impression. But again, just my impression. So, yeah. And I didn't ask anybody, hey, what's going on with the 2, you know, gay chicks hooking up in a bathroom? I didn't ask about that. But I know the administration knew about it because the post was like on Instagram or something. And that was not cool. And the girls who posted it, I know they got in a talking to also.
Right. They are the ones who should be in trouble.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. You shouldn't hook up at school. Boy
Yeah.
or girl, boy, girl. It doesn't matter. There should be none of that at school, no matter your sexual orientation. But so, yeah, I don't know.
There shouldn't be posting about it at all,
For sure.
for sure, no matter what.
For sure. I had a question now. So how do you feel about drugs and alcohol in the school and your kids' exposure? Any exposure, any of that going on freshman year?
They are so strict and so on top of it at this school, which is public, which is surprising. there's really nothing.
No riffraff.
No, nothing.
Is that because you think that she doesn't see it, or that you really don't think it's going on?
I really don't think it's going on because she would see it. I mean, you can, because she saw it happening, or she sees it wherever happening, you know, you can see the smoke coming out, or when they do the vaping thing. But there at school, at least there's
That's interesting because that's such a huge school.
such a huge school, but they're really, really on top of it. They drive around in those golf carts and they are watching, and there's cameras everywhere, and they're super strict, and the kids know it. Like they'll catch you and they will throw you out or do whatever they do to them. But Gabrielle doesn't see it at all. And I ask her about it all the time too.
That's great.
Yeah, that is. That's really
That's
great.
really great. How about you?
Oh boy, just the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At school?
Yeah, at school, I think it's I think there's been a lot of exposure. I think the kids like to experiment and try and see what they can get away with there. I know that there's been vaping, and people have been kicked out and removed for having paraphernalia or weed in their bags. There's been quite a few people who have been kicked out last year.
Really?
Yeah, they have we have a zero tolerance.
Yeah.
So even for paraphernalia, so there have been people who have been kicked out, which is kind of crazy. It's like if you know that you're going to get kicked out of school, why would you bring it to school and
Yeah.
take that chance? And especially, you know, private school that your parents are paying for, that you had to work hard to get into this school. And, you know, it's not just the normal matriculation school where you go. Same thing with you. You guys it was really hard to get into your school.
Yeah.
No.
You- well,
it was a lottery.
it was a lottery,
luck to get it.
but you had to apply. You had to go to back to school night and high school night and figure out where you wanted to go and do all the tours. It wasn't just a normal.
Oh, yeah. It
The
wasn't
school goes
just
from
like,
here
yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
It was a conscious decision that you
yeah,
guys made
absolutely.
to send her there.
Yeah.
And for her to go there. So it just amazes me. I guess one kid was a senior and got kicked out.
Oh my God.
Like within a month before graduation. Now I have no idea why he got kicked out, but it must have been something pretty egregious. I can't see it being for vaping or something like that.
Huh. Interesting.
But they do have, it's really interesting. So if you get caught doing something, you, as a student, get to have a faculty advisor, I guess, who will go and testify with you in support of you and against the panel that is set up to determine what the punishment will be for your infraction.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think it helps the kids know that at least one of the adults is on their side.
Right.
Peer pressure, as we all know,
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
At this age. And so maybe that's what it is. Like they're not thinking ahead. They're not thinking of the consequence, really. They're just thinking, I'm going to look cool with this vape pipe in my pocket. You know what I mean? It takes over they want to be popular and cool. So that's taking over their common sense of like, I'm going to get kicked out.
Yeah, I think you're
this
absolutely
happens.
right.
Yeah.
That decision-making part of your brain obviously is not.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
pretty normal
mature.
for them.
Pretty normal.
Like that's what this
I
age is
wonder
about.
sometimes if they're not just forgetful. I mean, my kids forget stuff all the time, and they forget they have it or forget they put it in the backpack. Or, I mean, I think you're probably more right than being forgetful, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of my kids, not that they're doing drugs, but if they put something in their backpack, I just forgot they put it there. I think Georgia's school hasn't had anything on campus. They have like random drug dog searches, and I haven't heard about anything on campus, not even vaping. But I know I've heard about it after school, like at football games or at after stuff. That nothing at a dance or anything like that. It's always like off-site parties. Georgia said that's happening in those places, but she's not going to those places.
And
so-
drinking.
And drinking, pot, vaping, drinking. Yes.
Drinking.
No, nothing else. No other, like no meth, nothing like that. That's all I've heard about. So
I think for the most part, it's probably off campus. And her school was kind of known as that there's a lot of partying going on there, and we have a new principal, and she's really cut back on that. I mean,
That's good.
they've changed it. We have the drug dogs too, which I'm like, same thing. I don't think kids are smart. I think they, forget things and leave them in their backpacks, but the drug dogs come. They also, you know what else we have? We have mental health dogs.
What does that mean?
They bring mental health support dogs to school during finals week and everything. Sorry, complete change of direction.
You know what I thought? It was someone who could sniff out someone who had mental health problems.
Oh my God, I wish they had that.
Schizophrenia, bipolar. That's what I thought that meant, really, that they could sniff out.
So funny.
I wish we had that.
Right? That'd be
would
really
awesome.
She definitely has girl drama.
She's
That
like,
one.
oh, this one is full of self-loathing.
Self-talk, right? Eating disorder. That would be amazing.
And then
if they
how would
just-
the dog tell which one? Like
Well, he'd
little
point a
pat
different
or
leg.
something? Right.
One ear up means
Right.
this, one ear down. I don't know.
Wagging the tail between his legs.
Clearly, my brain was not.
Think that one through.
Interesting concept, though.
Yes.
Mental health dog. That's awesome, though. So the dog comes to relieve stress.
The dogs come to relieve stress during finals week.
Makes more sense.
A lot of support in that regards.
Well, high school. Let's see. What else? Sophomore split has happened. It was really unnerving for Georgia. I don't know how it was for your girls, but she had really bonded with her softball team. She was one of 6 freshmen, and 5 of those 6 left her school. Didn't even just leave
Wow.
the team, they left the school.
Wow.
All 5 of them, 4 of them wanted boys in their class. They were not into the all-girl thing. The 5th one, her dad was the head coach for softball, and he retired. And she was a very sweet girl, but I don't think she found her place in that school. And the whole year, she just didn't find where she fit, and she didn't want to stay. So they let her go to a different school. I don't know how she's doing now, but so Georgia's like basically lumped in with the sophomores for the new softball team this year, and she feels a little bit lost, I think, in that because she doesn't have her tribe, even though she's still, the 3 sophomores that were there last year, they're still close, but it's not the same. It's not the same when you have, you're just in biology with her, and now you're going to softball practice together. She doesn't have that
Right.
on her team.
Yeah.
And there were definitely some girls that she used to eat lunch with that she doesn't anymore. But the group of 4 that seem to be emerging are really good kids. So that's sussing out freshman year, and there's a lot of posturing, I think, that happens to try and jockey for position.
Yeah.
And see who's cool, who's not cool, who's in, who's out. A lot of that happens, I think, freshman year. And then sophomore year, you start settling down a bit and going, oh, okay, my people are over here. Or at least that's what I've observed from Georgia.
Right.
Do you feel like any of that's happened for your girls in this sophomore split incident?
What I've noticed, the other girls, it was just kind of a natural split. They kind of knew this one girl was half interested in being with them, so she chose to go off with a different crowd. And another one, she's an interesting girl, and she definitely was not. She's kind of on the outskirts. She's a cool girl, but what I've noticed that is really cool is these girls, and just not this group, but I've noticed some other friends of ours. They're learning to talk about the issues and bring it up
That's
with
good.
each other. So if there's an issue, like this one girl, it's been a little negative, and the girls were getting kind of sick of it, and they had a discussion with her about it at the end of last year. And that girl got a little angry and stormed off a little bit with a different crowd. But this year, I think over the summer, she must have thought about it and thought about her actions and what she was doing. And this year, she came back and she started up again with not being real nice with the things she was saying. And that afternoon, she called my daughter and said, listen, what I said today was not very nice, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
And she said, they discussed it.
Right.
And that happened a little bit last year too, that they would get home and they would FaceTime each other and be like, hey, what was that about?
Right.
And I'm really proud of them because we would have never done that in high school. No, even now it's hard to do.
Yeah.
And these girls are learning to do it now.
That's
which
great.
will help throughout their lives. And another girl who goes to a different school, she had a real hard time sophomore split. And I won't mention her name because she's not here or whatever, but her mother was telling me that something similar happened to her daughter. And she found a new group this year who were really nice. And she wrote all those girls a letter, an email, and said, this is where I'm at. This is what's happening. I'm going to move in with this other group. And this is why, but there wasn't blame or anything. And she was beautifully written, and people wrote back and said how nice it was to hear that from her. So I'm just super proud of these girls doing this.
Totally.
Because it's really hard to do.
It's really empowered.
Yeah.
Right? It means that they understand their feelings and can articulate them, which is quite mature.
Yeah.
And then grows more positive self-esteem if you're able to say what you need to say and have less attachment to the person's reaction on the other side. You know, because I would have been like, oh, they're going to be so mad, I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Or I don't want the drama, I'm just not going to say anything. Instead of saying, no, I need to be heard, and whatever happens, I'll deal with. That's super healthy.
Right.
Really
I
healthy.
thought so too.
That's great.
We're doing something right.
Yes.
One or two
Doing something
things.
One or
right.
two things.
One or two things.
Maybe not a lot.
Yeah.
We had a lot of that. We had a lot of the sophomore split. She was hanging out with a big group throughout most of freshman year. And then right toward the end and at the beginning of this year, well, mainly toward the end of this, people started to break off, and nothing really happened between any of them. But when you're starting out with such a large group, these people are going to hang out here. So the groups have rotated a little bit. And there was one incident that I think was pretty upsetting to T, is one of her friends that she felt very close to completely ghosted her.
Oh.
And
What do you mean ghosted?
just
Disappear?
they had gone to a place together and hung out for the day. And then the next day at school, the girl was nowhere to be seen, not hanging out with them, deleted her off of her social media.
Really?
Just no reason.
That seems extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no reason. And it's really hurt her feelings.
Yeah, and she hasn't talked to her about it?
The girl won't talk to her. And mutual friends, she's like, what did I do? If I did something, let's talk about it. We're really good friends, let's discuss what has happened so we can work through it. And if we can't work through it, that's okay too. But at least I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she feels like a how like a dropped boyfriend or girlfriend. It's just they were really good
It
friends.
does feel like that.
Yeah.
So, and that was a while ago. That was last year, but I know that it still bothers her because
There's no
it
answers.
it
There's
comes
no-
up. Yeah, there's no
closure.
answer. I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
I want to know what I did.
Right.
So that's happened. So there's been some moving around, and now I think she's just still trying to figure out exactly where her people are. She does have a good group of friends, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure it's completely settled yet. There might still be some moving.
Got it. So for first year of high school, what was the hardest things for you guys? What was the hardest thing for you?
For us.
Seeing her go through the social stuff was really tough.
Yeah.
And then also trying to navigate the frustration of the not turning in the homework and knowing that she's not doing the best that she can.
Yeah.
I didn't care if she got straight A's as long as she was trying and working hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was. It was just the lack of being able to handle the schedule and turning your homework in and that type of stuff was super frustrating. Plus, her acknowledgement of that.
Her
Like-
acknowledgement of
Of those shortfalls. Like instead
see.
of coming and saying, oh, hey, I totally screwed up. I didn't turn this assignment in. It would be like, how's chemistry or how's whatever? Oh, it's fine.
when it was not fine.
When it was not fine.
When it was not fine.
So I think that was probably my biggest frustration.
Right.
I'm trying to think of something.
Nothing?
Nothing.
How about the drive?
The drive.
The drive for me is not bad. And I am not a morning person, so you'd think it would be really hard. But getting up that early.
How early
has
do you
been
have to get up?
fine. I will get up like at 5:45. We were leaving at 6:30, but that's a little too late. So now we're leaving about 6:15, and there's no one really on the road. The sun's kind of just coming up, and the road I take, you can kind of see the sky and the mountains, and I get out of this area, which is so congested, and there's a lot of just energy happening in this area.
Yeah.
And up there, it's just the sky's open. It's just open. The energy's open. And it feels good. And I get to get in that area every day. And so I don't mind.
That's great.
You know, it does get a little congested coming back, but right after the exit I have to take. And we get to talk in the morning, and she puts on her music and we listen to music, and it's not bad. So I surprise myself.
That's
know,
good.
that it's not that bad.
Are you moving, Margaret?
Are we what?
Are you
moving? No.
Are you moving to the open area?
No. No. But I do shop up there because it's just easier. You know, there's the bigger parking lots, and
There's a
better
lot of places
parking.
right around
Yeah.
her school where you
Yeah.
can shop. I do
Right.
that too. I know I do that too when I have to go get Georgia.
Yeah.
There's so much shopping around her school.
Right. Just go early. There's a beautiful new Whole
exactly.
Foods, giant, brand new. So I'll
That's
just
awesome.
go early and do the shopping. And so, yeah, for me, I'm trying to think of something that maybe I'm missing something, but really, knock on wood, it's been great.
The hardest thing I think for me has been a couple things. I think for me, the driving has been hard. There was so much softball. I do not have the open sky drive that you have. I have the 101 that is just
Miserable.
a parking lot, you
Yeah.
know, when I have to go for softball. It's not fun. And I don't look forward to it. I try to put a podcast on. I try to listen to, the Allman Brothers. I haven't listened to them in a long time. Let's listen to Eat a Peach from start to finish. Let's go, and make the best of it. But it sucks.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's very wearing.
It's very wearing, and it's right when I need to be making dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm by myself. So I don't have someone at home making dinner so I can make this drive. It just makes the day really hectic at the end of the day when I want to be chilling out with
Right.
my kids.
Right.
And so I don't like that. I do like all the benefits Georgia gets from that, but I don't like that for me
Yeah.
and for the way I'd like our house to run. I feel like I'm walking in the door with my hair on fire. Everybody move.
Right.
You gotta start dinner, and maybe that's my fault. Maybe I should sit down on Sunday like all these professional moms and plan my menu for the week and know that that's my crock pot day and have all the ingredients all set and throw it in the crock pot at 2 p.m. and we walk in, dinner's ready. But I can't do that. I can't function like that. I've tried, and I don't have enough of a set schedule for whatever reason. Every day is different. So I can't, it's just been really hard for me to do anything like that.
Right.
And I can't bring myself to eat fast food or
I know.
I can't do that.
Pick up something all the time.
No, I can't do that.
I can't either.
It makes me feel also like
Yeah.
I'm failing as a mom.
Right.
Like
Right.
El
You can
Pollo
take out
Loco
every night.
again.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like I can't
Yeah.
do that all the time. So that's been the most frustrating part for me is that part of how it changed my routine, because we would eat dinner together every night, and we still eat dinner together, but it always seems so rushed. And George is always like, I got to get to homework. I feel like I never see her ever. She comes home from softball practice, eats dinner, and goes to her room and does homework and goes to bed. And I don't see her. And she's social, which is fabulous. But she was at your house for 4 days one day, or you're part of the neighborhood. And I was like, I didn't see you all week or these 4 days that she was at your house.
Right.
So now I haven't seen her at all. I feel like I'm not seeing her ever.
Yeah.
Which is healthy for
Yeah.
her.
Right.
I'm happy for her. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about me. This is how this has affected me. Because I think it does affect you. It makes me feel like I am that much closer to her being in college and being gone. And that makes me sad for me. Happy for her, but sad for me. But yeah, that's been really hard. And it's been hard too for me to, I wish sometimes we could just take wisdom out and put it in their brain, and just go, this is how you make friends. Super easy. It's not hard. Here's how you do it. Here's my little microchip on making friends, and just not have so much anxiety about it. I know it's her path and you have to go through that. I understand that. But sometimes as a mom, you want them to protect them. Your instinct is no pain, no pain, no pain.
Right. Pave the road.
Yeah, exactly. But they have to pave their own road.
Yeah.
But that's been a little hard too, to kind of go, oh, in that moment you should have, and keep my mouth shut. Like you were saying, let them come to it themselves.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
It is hard.
It is hard.
Because you don't like to see them get their feelings hurt or not have someone to sit with or, not necessarily that, but.
No, but I want to go, I know who that bitch is.
Right.
And that bitch ain't good. And don't go back to her. But you can't say that.
Right.
I've seen that person before.
We see the red flags, but they don't yet.
Exactly.
So they have to learn to recognize red flags themselves, because by telling them there's red flags,
they go more toward the red flag.
Right. Like I can tell you at this age,
yes,
dude, I see red flags with your contractor, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't think we can do that at this age.
You can't.
They got to figure it out.
It's really hard.
It is hard. I mean, you can always encourage. It's like, oh, do you want to go to so-and-so's house? You can encourage that.
Yeah.
But if you try to stop it, it's just going to make them want to go more.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what we were talking about before. If you give them the value system that you believe in, they'll eventually come to it. If you've had like a healthy relationship with your kids. Because my kids do eventually come to it.
Right.
But I just want to go, I'm so bossy, I guess, or something, or opinionated or outspoken that I just want to go, don't you see what she's doing?
Right.
Don't do that. Don't listen to her.
I don't think it's opinionated. I think you just want to, like you said, you want to protect them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shortcutter.
Yes.
Let me give you a shortcut.
Right. Take this path instead of
don't
that windy
go through
path.
this long one.
Yeah.
I know. So
I feel all of your transportation woes.
yeah.
Yes, because I do not have the bright open skies either. And then by the time you come home from cheer or soccer or whatever it is, it's the dinner craziness and the kids are late to bed, which means getting up early is a pain. And not only that, but do you have late start this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have late start now at 8:25. So she's staying up later than I am now. And I'm not so sure. It's like, wait a minute. I like to be the last one up, make sure everything's taken care of. I can't hold on anymore because I have early start with the other one.
Yes. I have that too at my house. That was another thing I was going to ask you guys. Georgia has never been a night owl, and she is. Like, if I would leave her alone, I think she'd stay up till midnight on a school night. I don't let her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like 9:30 is when I want her to be in the bed, like coming down from the day. Sometimes between 9:30 and 10 asleep, because she wakes up at 6. So that's really not even enough. She really needs to be like asleep by 9 to get the right amount of time. But I mean, then she feels like she has no life. So I go, okay, 9:30 in the bed, read for a minute, relax for a minute, turn the lights out, asleep by 10 at least. And boy, she is pushing it every day, 10:15, 10:20. And I keep saying, this is not my rule for me. This is for you, because remember when I pick you up from school tomorrow, every day you say, I'm so tired. This is why I'm so tired, because you won't go to sleep when you're supposed to. But it's that want, I think, of autonomy, and their natural clock when they get to be this age shifts to later.
Right.
But I mean, she's got to be at school at 7, or no, she's got to be at the bus at 7. So there's
What time's school start?
7:50.
Oh, 7:50.
Yeah.
There's a big push for this late start for everybody. Have you been hearing about that?
Yes.
It's since they changed it, I have to admit, it's really nice. I mean, it's messed up my schedule in the morning because now I'm getting up at 6 still to get her brother out. But then I have like, oh, well, now I have like a half an hour after he left. And it's kind of like lost time.
Yeah.
And then I get the start of my day going later because she doesn't have to be there until 8:25 now.
Every day is 8:25?
Every day it's 8:25.
Oh, no. They have intermittent late start days.
Yeah, no, they went from starting school at 7:50 to starting school at 8:25.
Okay.
So it kind of messes up the beginning of my day. So if I have to go to work, then I'm trying to catch up. And she, and probably rightfully so, is staying up till 10, 10:30, 11, which is probably not great either.
Yeah. Yeah. I find too that my daughter is not listening to me. Like I'll be talking and it's not like she's not even being defiant. It's not going in. She's somewhere else in her brain. And I'll say like, "Did you feed the dogs?" And she'll just keep walking and I go,
Right.
"Hey, did you feed the dogs?"
I do notice that too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's not just
Wait, what? What? I know you said something. What? And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's funny.
I wonder if it's because
Something's going on.
who was explaining to me the other day about the frontal lobe is
Yeah.
what's developing right now.
Oh, interesting.
That's right now in their lives. The frontal lobe is like shedding and creating new neural pathways. That's what's happening right now. So a lot of stuff is not going to be working. They're like high level thinking doesn't work right now. They're pretty
Interesting.
much like eat, sleep, drink. You know, like that's kind of all that's going on is the basic, and everything else is just shedding, is pruning. So I wonder if that's what it is, because literally I'll say, "I've asked you 4 times.
Yeah.
Have you fed the dog? You
Yeah.
feed the dogs every day.
Yeah.
That's your job every day. But 4 times, have you fed the dogs? I never heard you." And I really believe she never heard
Yeah.
me. So then I just start getting really frustrated. What do I need to do to be heard?
Right.
Do I have to put a clown suit on? Or
Right.
walk on stilts, juggle while
Yeah, yeah,
talking? What
yeah.
about what can I do?
Sometimes I go, look me in the eyes. Are
Right.
you listening?
And then do you feel like a crazy person?
Yes.
And you're like, what am I doing? Look at me.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, you're being so crabby. And I'm like, seriously? I've just asked you 4 times.
Right. Why are you yelling? I said, I didn't yell the first 3 times. By the 4th time, yes, I'm yelling.
I kept going. I start walking around the house. I'm good. And I start going, nobody here in this tone. Nobody understands what it's like to be me in this house. No one listens to me ever. And I'm sick of it. And then
Yes.
they're like, "Oh, were you talking?" Ah! Yes. I've been asking all of you questions. It's happening with Isla too. Remember how I said Georgia's young? Isla's not. So Isla's stuff's happening for Isla earlier than it did for Georgia. Sorry, I blew out my voice demonstrating.
The same thing happens with Drake as well.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. And the same thing, you can talk to him till you're blue in the face. It's like, put that hoverboard away. If anybody's thinking about getting a hoverboard, don't. It's the most irritating thing
Don't
in
worry.
the entire universe unless you're on it. It's horrible.
Oh, why?
Put that thing away. Oh, just back and forth and into the counters and the cabinets and into the like freshly painted walls.
Oh, so he's riding it in the house?
Oh, he rides it all the time.
Oh, that's
Yes,
so funny.
constantly in the
Right.
house. He's putting the dishes away on the hoverboard. I'm like,
Oh
"Wait,
my God.
it's enough to drive you crazy."
That's funny.
But I've taken to sending them texts. I was
What?
like, "Here's your list of same things to do," because I know you're looking at your phone.
Right.
So I'm sending you a
Smart.
text.
Feed the dog.
That
Do the dishes.
and I'll walk by something that they've left on the ground. It's like, "Oh, that's okay. When you leave that there, it just means it's mom's got it." So when
Right.
I'll pick it up, I was like, "It's okay, mom's got it." And they're like, "Well, I was gonna pick that up."
Whatever.
Sure you were.
Whatever.
I started, I think it's been this week or last week. I got so tired of them not like putting their lunch dishes in the dishwasher.
Yep.
And then next morning or nothing, I need them for the next lunch, you know? And so we get to the front door because we all get there together at the end of the day. And I said, okay. Yesterday I was like, what's mom going to say? And they get so mad at me, but it's like, take your shoes off and put your lunch dishes in the dishwasher. Shoes off, dishes in. Shoes off, dishes in. So I sit like 10 times before I even open the door. And I go, before I lock the door, what's mom going to say? And Gabriella said it and Penny wouldn't. I'm like, what's mom going to say? I'm not going to open the door. Shoes off, dishes in. You know what I mean? Because it's like a 2-year-old over again.
It is.
Like
It is.
these are the first 2 things you have to do.
Yeah.
Because for the last how many years you haven't done it.
Yep. That's exactly what's happening in the brain. The same
Yeah.
thing that happened when there was a toddler.
Yeah.
The exact same growth process is happening now.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law told me that years ago. She was like, they duplicate. So
Thank
whoever
God.
you had as a toddler, that's who you're going to have as a teenager. If they tantrumed, if they threw things, if they cried, if they were overly emotional, if they overreacted, that's who you're going to have as a teenager. So you can kind of go ahead and batten down the hatches and go, okay, Isla's going to be really volatile with her feelings. And Georgia's going to cry at everything, at nothing. I cut my finger. And you're like, okay, it's a paper cut.
Yeah.
No need. And she's been accurate. I mean, Georgia sometimes will just cry and go, I have no idea why I'm crying. I'm just crying. I'm like, you're just releasing stress.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Let it go. And then I will get really angry for nothing and really vocal about being really angry and not understanding why she's angry. It's exactly the way they were as toddlers. It's really
Right.
fascinating.
Right.
That is fascinating. That's good to know.
It is really
Like,
good to
gives you a
know.
little insight.
Yes, to go, okay, the boundaries that were run over as a toddler are going to be run over now. So then I can anticipate. Georgia never broke a rule as a kid. She was such a teacher's pet kind of girl. And she doesn't seem to be doing it now, in little ways. But I'm not worried about her sneaking out of the house or,
Right.
none of that because she didn't do any of that stuff as a toddler.
Yeah.
Isla, we'll see. She didn't break rules, but she was just kind of oblivious to them. She wasn't defiantly going, watch this, crack, I'm going to break
Yeah.
this. She just would break this and go, oh, that was wrong? Oh, I didn't realize that was wrong.
Just to
Sorry.
see what happens.
Yes, just to see what happens. So I'm interested to see what that means for her as a teenager as far as, boundaries go for her own health and safety. If she just goes, oh, well, jumping off a rock into a river sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
go, hold on. May not be the best plan.
Right.
So anyway, so overall, first year of high school, good?
I thought it was super easy, Also, we didn't have a lot of homework. The administration told them to weigh homework really low on their overall grade, so the teachers really don't give a lot of homework.
That's great.
Yeah, but not for AP classes. She didn't take any AP last year, but friends of hers did, and I know they had a lot of homework. So
Right.
either that school is saying we know AP, they encourage APs, so they want to give the kids enough time in the evening to do the AP homework.
Right.
So the other classes don't have a lot, I guess. I'm trying to figure it out, but yeah, it was easy, and I think not having a lot of homework really helped.
Of course. Yeah.
She was home helping me with dinner
Wow.
because she didn't have homework.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we cooked together.
That's
Yeah.
what's happening with Isla. Isla doesn't have a lot of homework. Her academy has almost no homework.
We're switching.
And yeah, right. She helped me cook dinner last night. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. She made
Awesome.
homemade ketchup, and I was like,
Right.
"What do you think about that ketchup?" She went, "Best ketchup I've ever had in my entire life. I'm just
That's
making homemade ketchup."
awesome.
I was like, "Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
just can some homemade ketchup."
Right.
But yeah, but it's because she had no home. It's because she had no homework.
Yes.
It's she had maybe 15 minutes worth of homework last
Right.
night.
God, that's great.
It's nothing. And sometimes I look at it and go, huh, is this good? I don't know. Are you going to be just murdered when you get to high school? But yeah, I don't know. It is delightful to have her
Yeah.
help me.
Spend some time in the
Spend some
afternoon with your
time.
kids.
Yes.
Yeah, one of her math teacher last year said, "I'm not going to give you homework on the weekends because you need to go home and help your parents mow the lawn." So he was like all for her, meaning go spend time with your families, go
Yeah.
help your parents.
Yeah. Go be a person.
Yeah.
Not just a student.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Overall
great.
first year for you?
I actually really enjoyed it. Like part of it was besides, the stressful academics and feeling hurt for them not being able to figure out the social things that you wanted them to. I think it was on whole really fun. Like she was involved in a lot of different things. It was fun to go to the football games and all the events at the school and that type of stuff. And I think I think it was good. I think it was good. I'm not so much worried about the grades because that'll, it's freshman year.
Yeah.
This year will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I would like to have her settle down in a solid friend group and be good with that herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then just actually embrace how much fun it is. Because right now, I think for her, a lot of it's work and there's a little bit of a negative attitude. But I would like for her to be like, oh, wow, we get to do so much stuff. I should really try and enjoy this and embrace it.
Right.
So I think it was good.
Good. Yeah, freshman year I think was good too. I know Georgia never said to me, because I check in all the time, how's it going? If you don't like the school, we can go to another school, but you have to talk to me and tell me how you're feeling about friends, school, academics, sports, whatever, because I can't read your mind. So I'm here to listen. And I know she had told some other adults like Sandy and a couple other people that she didn't like this school. And I went to her and said, I've heard from 3 adults in our life that were not connected to each other that you're not happy in this school. So I need to know that so I can help you either be happy in this school or go somewhere else, because I don't really care what high school you're in. I care that you have a good experience. And she was like, I think every high school has something that would be wrong.
Right.
So I think that for the most part, I'm happy here, but it's not perfect. It's not 100%. There are things I would like to change. And, but she said, I think that I would go to another school and I'd feel the same way. They'd be like, it's not perfect. There are things I would like to change. And they may be the same things as I'd like to change here, and they may be totally different. So she said, to be honest with you, I'd rather just stay here because I really like the teachers and I really like the way they teach. And that part I really like. So if that's what school's supposed to be about, then I'd rather just stay at this school. So I think overall it was good, but it was not flawless for Georgia. And it wasn't flawless for me either with all the driving and the softball. But she decided to stay, even though I was like, I'll pull you out and we'll go anywhere you want. And, if we can get into a different school, I'm all for it. I have no problem doing that. I think it was good for her to feel like she could make that decision. I'm not sure why she didn't feel comfortable telling me that in the first place, that I had to find out from other adults that she was saying that, which I asked her also. I was like, that's, I don't know how I could have been more open in saying, let me know when there's a problem, but that's what I'm here for. And I'm glad. She said, I'm really glad you said that to the other adults. And I'm glad that the other adults felt compelled to tell me, hey, just so you know, your daughter's not happy. Because I need to know that, because my job as your mom is to be your support system. It doesn't mean that you always have to be happy, but to be your support system is what's important, And I didn't tell her. I told her Sandy told me, and 2 other adults. I didn't tell her that because I can bust Sandy anytime. That's just no problem. I busted Sandy. I was like, Sandy and 2 other people. So I didn't tell her who the other people were. But she probably could figure it out. She probably figured out who she'd talked to.
Do you think that part of it also is like a teen thing? Like sometimes I think that T will say things just because she thinks it's the thing to say. Oh, school sucks.
Right.
Yes, I do. I
too.
do think that's part of it. And I know in one conversation with one parent, that parent's daughter was genuinely having a very hard time. And I think Georgia's personality sometimes is to be like,
empathize.
Oh, totally. I had a really hard time too.
Yeah.
To make them feel like they're not having such a bad time. So I think with that one parent, that might have been it. And it might have been that way with Sandy a little bit too, because Sandy's girls go to another all-girls Catholic school and they're really happy. And I think she may have been poo-pooing her school to make them feel better. But that's only part of it. Part of it is true. She wouldn't have said some of it if it weren't partly true.
Right.
So, I can't get in her brain and figure out how much is true and how much is not. I could just say, how can I help you with this? And hope that she lets me. And if she doesn't, then like you said, this is something she'll have to walk and figure out herself. And I'll help her with it. But she seems much better this year. I'm not, better is the wrong term, I guess. She seems kind of the same, but she doesn't seem to, she hasn't been saying that anymore to anybody. So I guess that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did ask Gabriella about it on one of our drives in the morning. I'm like, I'm doing this podcast, and is there something you want to tell me about freshman year or how it went or anything like that? And she was just more like saying she was really happy she joined a sport. And she was really happy she went to homecoming and the dances and got involved where some of them in her group didn't want to go and they didn't go.
Yeah.
And now those girls regret it and will be going this year, they say.
Yeah.
But she's really glad that she made the effort to join stuff.
Right.
Right.
So that was her advice for anyone who has kids or parents listening to this, that getting involved
Right.
really made a big difference, especially at a school that you don't know anyone.
Yeah. I think Georgia would probably give that same advice to get involved.
Right. Same thing.
Sign up for a sport,
Yeah.
a club,
Push
yearbook,
yourself.
something.
All of that.
Push
Yeah.
it, make it happen.
Out of your
And-
comfort zone.
Yeah.
And trust that everybody else there is pretty much out of their comfort zone
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Even if they know everybody there. It's a
Yeah.
whole new freshman year.
Yeah.
Is a whole new ball game. So
Right.
yeah, it's normal. All right. Well, thanks, ladies, for
Thank
filling
you.
me in.
for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Hope it helped some people listening who have freshmen.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Look out for that sophomore. What is it? Sophomore.
Sophomore
Sophomore split.
Look out for the sophomore split. I had
Don't
no
worry
idea
about
that
it. It's gonna
existed.
happen.
It's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thanks.